want to touch on something for a second this morning, if I may, and it's very simple. Somebody said, don't sell out. And honestly, I thought about it for about a half a second, and it's all about a difference in background. It's all about how you grow up. It's all about what's normal for you. Normal is subjective. It's conforming to a specific set of behaviors. That usually has to do with your environment and what you believe to be deemable, normal, sane, relative, whatever. And I, for the most part, have had a job for most of my life. I grew up with a decent family. I'm not saying that anybody else has or hasn't. I'm saying that the road that I'm about to go on and what I'm about to do works for me. It has nothing to do with anybody else and what they do or don't do. I don't judge anymore. You know, there was a time where if somebody decided to light a meth pipe in front of me, I would give them shit up one side and down the other. And now it's like, you know, just try to point that shit to where the wind is not bringing the smoke directly in my face. And other than that, let's have a conversation. You know what I mean? And I have people that have helped me along this journey for the past 10 years that are not people that I would have ever associated with before, that now I'd give the shirt off my back for. And that's the absolute truth. But what you have to realize and what you have to fathom in this particular situation is I have to get back to life for me, because most importantly, I have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I can still do it, to me, not to anybody else, just to me. And I have to get my confidence level raised, and I have to do school, and I have to get all this shit done. I have to silence that little insecure voice in my head, my little inner voice, and say, you know what? I got this done on my own terms, in my own way, in my own time. And I did it because I wanted to do it, because I chose to do it, because it had nothing to do with anybody else. It just had to do with me, and I lived my life my way, by my rules, by my morals, by my ethics, and with my self-respect intact, and I still got what I wanted. That is the part that is important to me. That is the part that is paramount to me. And if I haven't proven that yet by sleeping in a fucking car lot for 5 months, and by putting my life in my own hands, and by basically putting my back up against everybody and saying it's me against you, then there's not too much more that I can do about it. And I love this girl, and I'm crazy about this girl, and I get it, and I know it, and I'm not even sure if she hasn't flown the coop already, and I'm not even sure that she's here or she's not, or whatever. Other women haven't decided to join the party or whatever the fuck ever. And sometimes I do have a pity party, because it's hard, right? And it's hard coming to the terms that over the past years, you know, through various and sundry items and just hard living, I've let myself go a little bit. And the whole thing is difficult for me. And it's not so easy to get over, and it's not so easy to just, you know, pick up and move forward, but I'm doing it anyway because I have to prove it to myself. And I still want a wife, and I still want kids, and they're not no woman at all is gonna want to live with me and be with me and marry me if I'm stuck in a homeless shelter, living like I'm 15 years old. And you know, I told this story a little while ago when this got brought up, and I said it was time to just kind of pack up and get ready to get back into society again. I had an instance where somebody tried to jump me for $5. And at that point, I came to the realization that this is over. Because one of these days, I'm going to find somebody better, bigger, badder, and stronger than me, and I'm going to get hurt, or I'm going to get killed. And I don't want my daughter or my son hearing that I died for $5. Because that is not something that I want my legacy to be. And it's all realistically about what you want to leave behind, and what you want your legacy to be, and what you want your relatives and your son and your daughter and your wife or whatever, what you want to be remembered as. I want to be remembered as an academic. And I got compared a little while ago to the guy from Suits, and I'll tell you a little bit about that guy for those of you who haven't watched that show. I've been compared quite a bit to him over the past long while and a few other people, but I'll tell you a bit about him. He goes through law school, he flunks out, he doesn't flunk out, he drops out, he purposely drops out. And he drops out because he's helping other people pass the LSAT test. And he gets hired by a law school because the guy's impressed with the fact that this dude's like an automatic, natural, organic genius. And he passes the LSAT test with one shot. He becomes an attorney. He starts doing the grunt work in that law firm, and he builds his way up from the ground up. And that, with his work ethic, with his God-given talent, that really does remind me of me. And that kind of thing right there, that's inspirational. That's what I want to be, and that's what I want to be remembered as a guy that uses his head, not his fist. And I want to get into good, like a good education, like a good job, and to a certain degree, I guess, I'm not going to get to be a cop, and I finally come to terms with that. Although there's some of me that still wants to be a PI, there's some of me that still wants to be, get on as a civilian contractor with the RCMP and maybe finish my psychology degree or something. But knowing now that that would be a lot of work, but that could still happen. And I have a natural, what do I want to say here? Carl Jung is one of my favorite people. And for those of you that don't know who Carl Jung is, he's one of the best analytical psychologists and the grandfather of modern psychology, pretty much, and the co-founder of what modern psychology essentially is, along with Sigmund Freud. And I love psychology. I dig it. I love delving deeper into the human psyche. And if I got the chance to profile serial killers or something like that, or do that for a living, that would be the ultimate big thing for me. So maybe that's a possibility, and maybe I go get my psychology degree, and maybe I look at forensic psychology, and maybe I finish that up. I don't know yet, but in any event, I'm not selling out. I'm finally getting the opportunity to realize a dream that's taken me 10 years to get this close to what I want, and to what I crave, and to what I need, and to what I desire. And I don't just say this because it's catchy or it's something that I like to say. I say it because I've proven it. I say it because I prove it every day by my dedication to bettering myself. And I say it because that's who I am as a person. And that's who I really am as a person. And I'm proud to be in the family that I'm in, and I'm proud of my father, and I'm proud of my brother. And I'm damn proud of my brother's success, and I'm proud of everything that he's accomplished, and I'm proud that he's the principal now of Red Oka. And I'm very thankful for the people that have gotten me this far and taken an interest in my life. And I was just telling a young man here this morning, you look for the manure, you look for bullshit long enough, you're gonna find it. And I guess to a certain extent, I may have sabotaged something because I looked too hard for bullshit a little while ago, although things were quite unstable. And if she's still here, and if she's still on here, I'm finally learning how to trust and how to not look for being betrayed. And I just wanted to say how much I appreciate her and how much I appreciate that. And if she's willing to try to stick with me and try to talk to me a little while longer, I give her my word that I will try to not be so accusatory and not be so actionary when it comes to, or reactionary when it comes to her and her various and sundry difficulty. And I appreciate this whole situation, and I dig it. And every man's got to go his own way, and that's the absolute truth. And right now my way lies in the form of school, work, and getting back into society and becoming a productive member of society, and not only that, but becoming a happy member of society, and realizing my full potential and realizing my dreams. Because a lot of people just talk about their shit and talk about their dreams and don't actually do anything about it, because the limits that we set are the limits that we set centrally. And the limits that we set are the ones that we give ourselves. And if you have the attitude that you don't have limits, that you can achieve what you can achieve, I mean, you know, there is God-given talent, there is doing what you can do, but there's also removing those barricades and realizing your full potential, because everybody's got an intelligence or a way of, you know, like, everybody's got some kind of gift. And we're all, you know, essentially on the same road. Some of us are just a little farther down the road than other people. That's just the way she goes. I mean, that's life. I didn't make the rules. I just live in it. But I have been blessed with certain gifts, and I will continue to utilize those gifts in order to get myself moving forward. And in point of fact, I would like to point out that fluid intelligence can peak when you are 43 years old. And it has been known to happen. And if you work on something later in life, earlier in life, midlife, whatever, chances are very good you're going to get better at it. And it is going to become a permanent part of who you are, because you earned it, because you earned that right, and because you worked on it, and because you, again, earned it. So being able to reason my way through things, analytical, logical, whatever, and being able to discern information and to process information and to know what it means is the very definition of being able to not only learn an idea, but to conceptualize and then to come up with your own idea. And that's how knowledge gets created, folks, and that's how textbooks get created, and that's how people start talking. And that's how lessons get learned. And that's how PhDs get handed out. And that's how this world keeps on turning. We always learn, we always evolve, because if we didn't, we would perish and we would die. Thank you for letting this old man ramble for a while, and have a wonderful day.